shit, it's hot as fuck. Okay. Hello everyone, it's Michaela Valletta, reporting live from Cartagena de Indias in Colombia. As you can see, I'm fucking hot as fuck, okay? It is super hot and humid here. Like, I love the heat and I love humidity, but it's a bit much in Cartagena. Like, it's a bit much. Like, when I got here last night from Medellin, I was like so hot last night. I was so hot this morning, like I couldn't even sleep. Pero, I want to do a quick video. I had to wait till the sun went down, had my adventures today. To talk about, this is my third time in Cartagena de Indias. And this time I discovered some things that I wanted to talk about. There's a lot of things in my mind, so let me get my thoughts straight, okay? So, just real quick, if you don't follow me on YouTube, you can follow me at the Renaissance Amazon. On Instagram, it's the_Renaissance_Amazon_81. So if you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram and this video is blurry, you can find it on YouTube. Okay. So there's a lot on my mind today, and I really want to talk about following your ancestors, like following your ancestors, and from that topic, there's a lot of things I want to say. Those of you who follow me on Instagram, you know that I posted, and Facebook, I posted a picture of Rihanna yesterday, where Rihanna's nipples were exposed through this shirt, and I said that I find that empowering, not a woman wearing a burqa. And some people took offense to that. And if you know anything about my work and who I am, I always talk about how I'm against patriarchal religion. That includes Islam, it includes Judaism, it includes Christianity. I feel like those are the huge problems with the world. And if you study the history behind them, that's where the restrictions on the woman's body and woman's sexuality comes from. I'm very much into how we were, like pre-colonial ways of being. How we were before we were colonized, not just by the white man, but by religion, okay? Patriarchal religion is the problem. Not simply the white man, but patriarchal religion, okay? And so I really like history. My dad was a historian, and my dad was a history professor with no college degree. And it's funny, because as I was talking to him earlier about some of the research I was doing, he told me that I need to get my PhD in history. Even though I've always been a science person, he's like, you need to get your PhD in history because, that's what you have all the makings of a historian. But I've talked about in other videos, and you can check my other YouTube videos where I talk about what brought me to Colombia in the first place, right? And I have to dig, because I'm very much interested in Afro-Colombian traditions. That includes the dancing and the drumming. That includes the herbs and the medicine. That includes, but the dancing and the drum rhythms was the number one thing that made me interested in coming to Colombia, and then I fell in love with a bunch of other things. A lot of people talk about Medellin. Medellin is really white. There's a few black people in Medellin, but Cartagena is hot as fuck, humid as fuck, and it's full of Afro-Indians, okay? Black people, los negros, morenas, las indias. It's called Cartagena de Indias, okay? Cartagena is, I found out, the sister city of my father's hometown. So my father is from St. Augustine, Florida. St. Augustine, Florida was the northernmost point in the Spanish Empire. And St. Augustine's history is intermingled with Matanzas, Cuba. And Matanzas is where, they say the real roots are in Cuba, for real. I've yet to go to Matanzas. I've been to Cuba 5 times, but I've been to Havana 3 times and Santiago de Cuba twice. Never to Matanzas. And I found it out when I was in my dad's hometown doing research, okay? Doing research, and I saw. And also, St. Augustine, Florida, my dad said when he was a kid, they called it like Little Africa because there were so many black people, but it was also an indigenous village. And there's a huge history between blacks and Seminoles in Florida, okay? The Maroons, Morena. Now, the thing is about race and ethnicity, race in Latin America. Like, there's, the way that North Americans define race is not how people in Latin America define race. It's not how Africans define it, Jamaicans, nothing. America says one drop of black blood makes you black. So there's a whole lot of people in the black category in America who are light, bright, and damn near white. That's why Rachel Dolezal, that woman from Washington State, could pass for black, because there's a whole lot of black people that look just like her. But in Latin America or Africa, if you're like really light like that, and you say you're black, people will laugh at you. If you're light-skinned, I know light-skinned black people who were born in Africa and said they were black, and Africans say you're not black. They call them white or something. They might call me light-skinned, and then they call like a light-skinned black person white, you know? So race is not defined the same everywhere. So that's what I've always said also in defense of Dominicans. Sometimes when Dominicans say I'm not black, it's because they define race differently. Literally in Colombia and in Cuba, there's so many like people who are literally the color black. Like I'm brown, like my skin is brown. Like there are people in Colombia and Cuba who are black. Like they're darker than anything I've seen in the United States. So when people always act like, you know, Latin America is so mixed, I feel like the black people in America are more mixed than some of the black people in Colombia and Cuba, where a lot of Africans did, you know, there were way more African slaves brought to Colombia. Colombia was number 2 in the slave trade. And to Cuba, like the smallest percentage was brought to North America. So us black people in America, whether we're dark skinned or not, have mixed with Europeans, Native Americans. There's a lot of those mixtures here too, but you see a lot more people here who are literally the color black. Okay? And those are los negros. Then morena, who refers to the people who are brown. Then you have los indios, the indigenous people. Then you have the mestizos, who are indigenous and Spaniard, right? Then you have the white, like this is Spanish, not just Spanish, because Spanish people a lot of times have an olive complexion. There are people in Colombia who are white, like they look like Irish people, okay? They're like white, see-through white, freckles and red hair white. Like they look like they could be Joe from Kansas. And I have a video where I talk about Latina misconceptions. I'll put it below my YouTube video that Latinas look all kinds of ways. They look like just as white as Molly from Arkansas and just as black as somebody from Sudan, okay? And everything in between could be Latina. Not just the people that look like J-Lo, not just the people that look indigenous, okay? So, you know, and typically in Spanish, morena or moreno referred to not just brown skin, but it referred to the blacks that were not slaves. Negros usually referred to the slaves, okay? People who were slaves or descendants of slaves. Now, being colonized by the Spanish, of course, there were a lot of Moors, you know, that also came, and that may not have ever been slaves. So you have the term again, morena, or maroon, you know, but that's a whole complex history that I'll get into. So today, like, oh, and also the Airbnb I'm staying at here has these 2 drums. I wish I could show them to you. I'll take pictures and post them on Instagram. But there are 2, like, I'm also a drummer. I do steady dance. You guys see me dancing on YouTube and Instagram, but that's like that's like 10% of what I can do. I'm actually a very serious student of Haitian folkloric dance, Afro-Cuban folkloric dance, and not just the Yoruba stuff. Like, I study a lot of different things from Cuba. And I have videos where I talked about that. I've studied stuff from Bomba y Plena from Puerto Rico, Los Palos from Dominican Republic, Samba from Brazil, Samba de Bahia in particular. Very interested in Afro-Peruvian dance, so we'll be going to Peru at some point because Peru also has a huge black population and their dancing and drumming is a shit. There's an Afro-Peruvian singer named Susana Baca. She's amazing, okay? So I can't help the fact that I'm guided by this. Sometimes I'm like, why am I still so into this? Why am I traveling to all these places to search for this? Like, the beach is right there. I didn't go to the beach today. I won't go to the beach tomorrow. I've been to Cartagena 3 times, never gone to the beach. I don't care about the beach. Like, I'm fine looking at the water and hearing the waves. I love bikinis, but I don't give a fuck about the beach. I don't give a fuck about getting in that water, and I hate sand, okay? I just like to be hot and half naked, get the sun on my skin, and go do what I do. Now today, I have videos where I've talked about why I like Cartagena. Cartagena is a great place to shop. A lot of beautiful art of black women and indigenous women. And one thing that you see a lot, which is like the stamp of Cartagena, is La India, la mujer, like the indigenous woman, standing like this, and she's topless with just a loincloth, right? And that's how she's standing. And You have a lot of statues of black women whose skin is black, topless, nipples out. Sometimes the nipples are emphasized in the artwork, okay? But just throughout art, period, we find that. If you look at, like a lot of people in America are going to talk about Oshun and yeah. If you look at Oshun in art, if you look at the ancient art, the goddesses are topless. Their nipples are out. Nipples are a vortex of energy, okay? They need to breathe. Like right now, it's too fucking hot for me to have this on, and it's too fucking hot for me to have this on. And if I could sit here and do a topless video, I would, but then my shit would be flat. So, the thing about the burqa comment that I even made is like, first of all, it's hot as fuck out here. Like, you have to be out of your mind to be walking around with a bunch of clothes on. I mean, even though I do see a lot of people from Colombia, they wear jeans all day. I don't know how they do it, because I swear to God, this shit is hot. Like, just come here. Like, it's just miserable hot. But people get used to the heat. But it's really not good for you, because the more melanin you have, the more sunlight you need on your skin. You need it on multiple parts of your skin in order to get vitamin D. I have a video on my page, The Body Scientist 81, where I speak about vitamin D in depth. It's not enough just to get it on your hands or your face. Like, you have to get it on as much of your skin as possible. And if you look around the world, at any place that was hot prior to colonization, this is Africa, this is the Caribbean, this is South America, this is Southeast Asia, this is the Polynesian Islands. Those people, all the people were naked. They had on their loincloth, their breasts were out, from baby to elderly. Women were not getting raped, okay? The men weren't acting a damn fool. But then the thing about the burqa and the hijab and all that is like, oh, the woman's an evil temptress. And I remember I got told that in a mosque when I was in high school. And they said the reason why the women have to cover up like that is because the men can't concentrate when they're praying. And I thought to myself in high school, so you're telling me I have to put all this shit on and have a fucking heat stroke because the men can't concentrate while they're praying? Why don't y'all teach the men how to fucking focus instead of punishing the women? I have been places that's super hot where there's a Muslim couple and the woman has all this shit on, and then the man is walking around with shorts and a t-shirt. And I'm like, how could he not feel fucked up that he knows it's hot as hell out here? She's walking around with all those clothes on. You know it's hot. You don't even have to do that. That's fucked up. And when I was a little girl, you know, my dad used to point women like that out to me. I'll never forget it. I remember him pointing out, and this is no offense to anybody, but this is my beliefs. I am a critical thinker. I wasn't raised with religion. I do research, and I think about what makes sense to me. My mind has not been washed. My brain has not been washed with religion. I don't feel like I have to say the popular things just to make everybody happy. Because on the flip side, people like me, women like me who own my sexuality, who owns my body, who might dance in a bikini, people got shit to say about that. So I got shit to say about the people who got something to say about that. I got something to say about the people who think, the women who think they need to be all covered up and shit because of some religion. Now, when I was a little girl, my dad pointed out a Muslim woman to me who had all that on. He said to me, you see that? That's a woman who doesn't want to be free. Because women in America have more rights than they do in most of the world. But she chooses to walk around all covered up like that because a man told her that. My dad said, fuck that shit. Don't ever let a man control you in that way. My dad told me that, okay? And then also, when I'm on the phone with my dad earlier and talking to him about some of the things that I came across today, and he told me I need to get my PhD in history. He was a history professor and a journalist with no degree. My twin brother now is finishing his master's in journalism in Colombia. My dad was a world-renowned journalist, had no degree, and a history professor, and the founder of, one of the founders of the first Afro-American Studies Department in the country, no degree. Okay? And part of me is like, yeah, school, but why do I have to prove to people that I know I'm doing what I'm doing? But my dad's like, you have to get back in school. Now, my dad said to me, you're a Renaissance woman. That's what he said to me because now on the phone. So this name, the Renaissance Amazon, it came from my dad. Except he always called me a Renaissance woman. I changed it to Amazon because Amazons are the fighting woman. That's what they are. Amazon doesn't stand for a woman who's tall, a woman who's tall and looks good. No, it stands for fighting women. Women who fought for their matriarchal traditions. When the patriarchal religions came with their violence, trying to destroy the temples of the goddess, trying to destroy what was written in stone, trying to destroy the truth, the women, and they existed on every continent, who fought back, those were the Amazons, okay? So that's where the name the Renaissance Amazon comes from. And if you follow me on YouTube and you follow me on Instagram, you see I talk about a lot of things. I talk about social issues, race issues, I talk about sexuality. I'm a science person, you know, so I do all those things. But at the end of the day, I think about what makes sense to me, and I think about how we were pre-colonial. What was our sexuality like? How did we dress? How did we view our bodies? What were we eating? Before we were colonized by this patriarchal religion, they used violence to tell us that we were indecent. And when I studied Afro-Indigenous dances from the Americas, so much of our history is in there, you know. And so in this Airbnb I'm at, there's 2 drums, and I'll take a picture of them tomorrow. I'll try to do a video of drumming in the morning before I go out. But these drums, I know you talked to my Dominican friend in New York, because he's like a freaking drum, like he could look at drums and tell you exactly what ethnic group they came from in Africa. Which is another thing. When you talk about the groups of Africans that went to different parts of the Americas, you can also tell that by listening to the rhythms, the instruments, how they're constructed. Because the way people like constructed drums from Dahomey was not the same way that people constructed drums from the Congo or parts of Senegal. And these drums here, actually, that I'm looking at, they look like Haitian petois drums. A Haitian petois, petois those were the fire spirits that were responsible for the Haitian Revolution, and they weren't African spirits. People could tell you the spirits that were responsible for the Haitian Revolution and voodoo were not African spirits; they were Arawak spirits. So I get so tired of people acting like Native Americans are so weak. That's not true. And I'm tired of people acting like Native Americans are all gone, like in North America, the Caribbean. No, the fuck they're not. People need to stop just believing what you're told. People need to learn how to do research and use their critical thinking skills, right? So for me, research is reading books written by scholars, okay? Not just any book. Not a book that Raheem and them wrote who's standing on the motherfucking street talking shit. Not people whose names start Umar Johnson or whatever. I never listened to a single thing he said because that name alone told me he was a fraud. Not those kind of people. Books written by real scholars who've done real research. And even if they're not black, they could be white. They're Jews who've done excellent research on Haitians or on black Americans. You have to look at all of those things, right? Then museums. Like, I haven't been to museums that much, but today I went to a few museums in Colombia. I went to the Emerald Museum because Colombia is known for its emeralds. And so there's a whole museum about the mining of it and the emeralds in different parts of the world and why the Colombian emerald is so special. I went to, also these earrings that I have, these are bronze but they're gold plated and they're replicas of pre-Columbian jewelry. So in Cartagena and also in Cali and other places, but especially in Cartagena, they'll have like this bronze jewelry that's gold plated and it's replicas of stuff from the Museum of Gold. Now, in the Museum of Gold, they will show you like different parts, different regions of Colombia, and the type of jewelry they wore pre-Columbian, okay, and the meanings behind it. There were meanings behind everything. La ranita, which Puerto Ricans call coqui, which is a frog. You know, like that. I know that it's important in Puerto Rico because when I was a kid, we had to sing that song when I graduated from 5th grade. We had to sing some song about coqui in Puerto Rico. But here is also a major symbol. So all those symbols made sense. I always say, anything that's written in stone, anything that's written in the caves, that should all mean something. Indigenous people didn't do that for no reason, right? And I don't like the fact that people act like indigenous people were stupid. Like our ancestors were stupid. Like they didn't know what they were doing. Like we know more shit now because we fucking don't know more shit now, okay? So for me, I can help the fact that I dig back, I care about history, and I let my ancestors lead me. I had an interest in coming to Colombia. I had no idea that Cartagena was the sister city of my dad's hometown of St. Augustine, Florida. My dad's family is from St. Augustine, Florida, for as far back as we can trace. My mother's father is from Pensacola, Florida, which is very much like down the road from New Orleans. And I feel my ancestors heavy in New Orleans. But Pensacola, Florida is right down the road. And I was talking to one of my Dominican friends last night. He told me that Louisiana's history was also tied in with St. Augustine, where my dad is from. I didn't know that, but I did know about Pensacola. So I feel my ancestors heavy in those places. Like, I like California, don't feel my ancestors there, you know? So it's just certain things. But then I start to find out as I study research that, oh, okay, my ancestral roots in Florida is connected to all these other places, right? Now, so today I found, and then yesterday, like, there's this woman who I study with in California named Katherine. I talk about her all the time, also known as Indigenous. Last night, as I'm sitting here in Cartagena, I see, like, that she posted on Instagram that she, very soon, stay tuned, because she's going to do an IG Live on Afro-Colombian midwifery. Now, I'm also a birth worker. I'm a doula. If you don't know what a doula is a woman who assists a woman in labor. And I study a lot of things, and have been studying a lot of things around birth and the woman's body since 2010. I don't talk about it that much, but it's something that I study a lot. And so, so when I saw this, I'm like, that's crazy, because I'm in Colombia right now. And I contacted the girl. And I also saw she was friends with this other amazing midwife I know named Sumi from Oakland. Sumi's the shit. I'll post her Instagram below. But Sumi has traveled all around the world, all over Africa, South America, Mexico, studying midwifery like guerrilla style, like just in villages with people studying midwifery. Sumi is amazing. So I see that this woman is friends with Sumi as well, who I also know. So I reached out to her to find out, like, where in Colombia was she, and, like, you know, I told her what I'm interested in. She's actually in Choco. Most of the black people in Colombia are on the Pacific coast. I'm on the Caribbean coast right now. Cartagena is very black, but it's not where most of the black people are. Most of the black people in Colombia are on the Pacific coast. And I was in Cali, which is like 2 hours from the Pacific coast, but it wasn't on the coast, so I haven't been over there. No, she's from Buenaventura, Choco. Those are like where most of the black people are. And when you go over there, people are black for real. Like, they're all like, most of them aren't even my color. They're like dark-skinned people, right? And so I was speaking to her, and she told me, oh, there's a lot of midwives on the Pacific coast, and she told me about something that I should come to in June 1st, but I won't be here. I'll be in New York. And so she's somebody I'm going to keep in touch with. But then today, when I was in the Emerald Museum, I found this book, right? You see? You see this book? This book is called Katherine, which is midwife. Saber Ancestral y Práctica Viva. So this is about it being an ancestral practice, okay? Midwifery, being an ancestral practice. I found this book. And it was covered in plastic, so I couldn't even open it until I bought it and came home with it. And, I mean, I can't wait to read this book, right? Because there's so much stuff. There's so many things. El Secreto de las Mujeres, the secret of women. There's so much stuff that we're not taught, you know. And if you follow me on YouTube, my page, The Body Scientist 81, you know I'm a science person. I am a science person. But I know that there's a lot that's missing, and I know that science doesn't confirm anything that indigenous people didn't already know, right? I'm very much into indigenous practices, even when it comes to work. So I can't wait to read this book. And there's actually some really interesting books. I have another book, I don't have it with me right here, that I found. You know, I might go grab it. Oh, because it's a book I got in Cali about women's gynecological health. A microbiotic revolution for women's health, vaginal health, which is also very important. I found that book when I was in Cali, and that's something I study too. Is the, you know, vaginal health, the bacterial balance, is something I talk about a lot. And to see a book written by a doctor who specializes in that, I was like, wow, I have to get this book. Then I found this book right here. This book, Algunas Plantas Medicinales Tradicionales y sus Usos Populares. So some traditional medical plants and its popular uses on the islands in the province of Santa Catalina. So in this book, it's mostly in Spanish, there's a little bit of English. The other book is in Spanish. So for me, I just feel like, and also like my ancestors, a lot of Afro Seminoles from Florida did speak Spanish. So for me, it's like I've always wanted to be fluent in Spanish, but really because I wanted to talk to the black people in Latin America, and I wanted to study with black people in Latin America. But then to find out that, like, well, my family's from a Spanish colony. Florida has a very different history than the rest of the United States. And I start to notice things the more that I'm here that I've noticed from my family. Like most black Americans I meet in America are not from Florida. I don't meet very many Floridians. And most of the time when I meet people that say they're from Florida, they're actually from the Caribbean who moved to Florida. So any Florida black people out there, what's up? Write your comments. The one thing I know is that my grandmother, like there's things that like my grandmother made, like this dish called shrimp perla, and then this fish stew that my dad made. I'd never seen anybody make this particular fish stew that I hated as a kid until I went to Cuba. And in Cuba they made that same fucking fish stew, and it was bringing back childhood memories. I'm like, no, I can't stand this. But my dad made it. My dad also rides horses, and all of the Spanish colonies you see horses are very important. And even in Beyonce's Lemonade, you saw her riding a horse in Texas. Texas, another Spanish colony. So the horses, you know, I have so many pictures as a kid on a horse with my dad. Like, he was trying to force me to fucking ride horses. Always wanted me to learn how to ride horses. Never had an interest, but horses, all the Spanish colonies, horses. Also, like, Spanish-speaking people love fucking bread and dessert. Like, all throughout Colombia, all throughout Cuba, it's like so many banderias, you know, like these bakeries, panderia, pasteleria, like constantly. And it reminds me of, and an ice cream everywhere. You know I love ice cream. Sorry. Okay, so you know I love ice cream. But it reminds me of my grandmother, because growing up, every time my grandmother made dinner, like, it was as soon as we were done eating or we're full, she's like, okay, you ready for dessert? It's like, damn, like, and it was always like this cake and ice cream. Or, like, at home in my parents' house, dessert wasn't like something we ate every single night after dinner. Like, my grandmother, it was like a ritual. But I'm like, Spanish-speaking people love some goddamn bakeries and shit. They love cakes and cookies. They got bakeries to motherfucking death. And I don't care about that. But to me, I'm like, oh, my grandmother, you know, from Florida was the same way. So you start to notice these things, right? And I went to the Emerald Museum. I went to the Museum of Gold. And I love looking at prehistoric shit, pre-Columbian, pre-colonial. Then I went, and both of those museums were free. Then I saw, what the fuck is the name of this museum? Oh, damn, I'm going to put it below on my YouTube, because I can't remember the name of it. But it was the museum that was like the history of Cartagena. This museum cost $8 to go into. And this museum had detailed history of the Africans that came to Cartagena, the indigenous people in Cartagena, what went on between the Spanish colonies. Like, they even had like they showed like the torture devices that were used for those who would not adopt Catholicism. Okay, and they showed also like the different herbs and things that Africans and Native Americans used for healing, for spiritual purposes. And I talked about this in my last YouTube video when I talked about going to the Botanica, or the farmers market in Cali, and finding all this Ifa stuff. And I'm trying to research the spirituality of black people in Colombia, because it's been very well documented in it's been very well documented in Cuba, very well documented in Brazil, very well documented in Haiti, but Colombia not so much. And when you try to find it, you can't find it. Now, Ifa is particularly from the Yoruba. But in Haiti, for example, Haitian voodoo is a mixture of things. It's not like in Cuba, they got like Palo, which is Congolese. Ifa, Santeria, which is Yoruba. They got Abokwa, Arara, stuff from Dahomey, like from different African groups in Cuba. In Haiti, it's really like you have in Haitian voodoo you have the Rada and Petuel. The Petuel spirits are like the more fiery spirits. Those are the ones that are aggressive. Responsible for the Haitian Revolution. A lot of those spirits are actually indigenous and not African. And then you have the Rada, which are considered to be the more friendly, calmer spirits. But either way, Petuel and Rada are a mixture of things, right? And either way, in all of the Americas, whether it's Santeria, whether it's Ifa, whether it's Balo, whether it's Haitian voodoo, there's also Native American elements. Everything that they're saying is African is also Native American elements. That's why I call it Afro-Indigenous, and I constantly say Afro-Indigenous, right? And, you know, you definitely see in Cuba and in Colombia, you see a lot of indigenous people. And they're not light-skinned. How the fuck could you be light-skinned when you come from someplace that's fucking hot? They're not. Native Americans from Canada might be light-skinned, or from New York or Illinois or Massachusetts, they might be light-skinned. But if you're an indigenous person from the island of Puerto Rico, from the island of Cuba, you're not, I mean, like in Loíza, Puerto Rico, it's been 10 years since I've been in Puerto Rico, and I need to go back. I had no interest in going to the Dominican Republic because I didn't like their race issues, their ignorance, and how they treated Haitians. So Dominican Republic has never once been someplace I wanted to go to, but now I'm like getting a little curious just to go see for myself. But, what was I going to say? In Cuba, yeah, you see a lot of, like in Loíza. Loíza was named after a female indigenous chief who was in charge when the Spanish came. Her name was Loíza. And when you come into Loíza, which is one of the blackest towns in Puerto Rico, which is right outside of San Juan, you see this painting. At least 10 years ago it was there when I was there. This painting of Loíza. She's like my complexion, and she was topless, of course. And that's how we were. So for me, when I post a picture of Rihanna, it's like, yeah, a lot of people might get turned on by it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people getting super turned on by it is also people, we don't see nipples all the time. If we saw nipples all the time, would it be such a big deal? But even if you did get turned on by it, so what? You know what I'm saying? Like, we are sexual beings. We come from sex. We are here because our parents had sex. Sex is a normal fucking part of life. You should be having sex. Now, because you got turned on by something, that doesn't give you the right to touch it or to violate it. You could look at something that turns you on and just keep it cool over here. But there's nothing wrong with being aroused by something that you see. So, but when I see other people act like a woman is disrespecting herself because her nipples are showing, because for me, you know, it's like, I don't wear bras. I fucking hate bras. You know, my nipples show through a lot of things, but I'm not trying to make that happen. Sometimes it's actually kind of embarrassing, and I be trying to rub them and try to make them stop poking through things. My mom will tell me, oh, you need to put Band-Aids. I'm like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not putting a fucking Band-Aid over my nipples. Okay, if somebody sees that I have nipples, okay, what do you do? I'm a fucking woman. I have nipples, okay. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, sometimes I am a little bit subconscious because it could be, like, a bit much, but it's like, fuck a bra. Like, I don't like bras. The only time I wear a bra is when I have a bikini top. When I go to the gym, you know, I put on a sports bra. I hate sports bras. Like, I don't like none of that shit. You know why? Because we're not supposed to have them. They're suffocating our circulation. Like, they suffocate the circulation. They're covering your nipples. It's not good. Let's take it back to the ancient art and look at what you see. Whether it be Native Americans, Africans, the women are topless. They don't have a little top. No, they're fucking topless. No bra, no cover on their nipples. So if you see a woman who, like the photo I posted of Rihanna, and you think that that's a problem, or you don't understand what I'm saying about burqas, that's because you don't know how to think for yourself, and you are stuck in that perversion. See, it's like that patriarchal religion is what created perverts, okay? That's what created perverts. If you look at people in the Amazon today who have not been colonized, they're running around topless, okay? Even the elderly women are topless. From baby to elderly. And they're not like, oh my God, we're getting raped all the time. No. Because the men have some sense. The societies raised people to have sense. They punish people who, you know, like, it just wasn't a part of how people acted. Now, patriarchal religion makes women believe that it's your fault. You know, it's okay if this dude touches you. Oh, he was tempted by you. You never should have worn that. Which is fucking stupid. Because I will walk around half naked all I want, and no one has ever raped me or nothing like that. But I know lots of women who have been raped who weren't even dressed like that. You got plenty of kids who are raped who are not doing anything. So regardless of what somebody wears, it doesn't give any dude the right to put their motherfucking hands on them. Period. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all about, like, taking it back to the origin. I mean, we can't go back in time, but if you want to understand the true medicine, if you want to understand health and longevity, then you have to look back, because we are the sickest we've ever been, the craziest we've ever been, ever, okay? And we're all here for different reasons. I can't help the fact that I'm guided by my ancestors. And being here just, and the things that I saw today, just like, and it brought up things that I've kind of let go, things that I wanted to do, like I've always wanted to do a performance, taking dances of the African diaspora. I told you, I study a lot of different things, and doing them without all the clothes, doing them topless, doing it with like a little loincloth, like how Josephine Baker was dancing with some bananas around her waist or some shit like that. So you could see the movements, number one, because all the Aunt Jemima headscarf and the Aunt Jemima skirts and the blouses, that's some slave shit. That's when the Europeans came and said, oh, Africans, you're indecent, you need to put some clothes on. And we had to put all that shit on. But slavery's over. You don't have to dress like Aunt Jemima anymore. And it's funny because Afro-Americans, we don't idolize that look. To us, it's actually offensive. That whole Aunt Jemima look is offensive. Being a maid, Afro-Americans, I don't know any Afro-American that will allow their kid to get made for Halloween, but Caribbeans and other people, they don't see it the same way as we do. And that's a whole other complex discussion. And, you know, the thing is, I mean, it's just not good. I want to do research about vitamin D deficiencies in Colombia and the Caribbean, people having so much clothes, because studies show that brown people, even when they live someplace like Miami, have vitamin D deficiency because they're in their office all the time, they're in their car all the time, and they have on too much clothes. So we need to get the sun on our skin. We need to. And I don't go to the sauna. I have a video I did last year when I came to Cartagena where I was talking about sauna, Cartagena sauna. And I was saying I never go to the gym and sit in the sauna ever. But what I will do is deal with the fucking heat and humidity in a place like this, or New Orleans, or wherever I'm at where it's hot and humid as fuck. Santiago de Cuba, all those places are extremely hot and extremely humid, almost unbearable. I just deal with it. Like last night I was laying there butt naked, so fucking hot. Just deal with it. There's no air conditioner where I'm at. I don't even like the air conditioner. I have to be like death hot, like really about to suffocate. Like New Orleans, you a lot of times need an air conditioner because New Orleans has no breeze, so you really be about, like that shit be sitting on you, but you'd be about to die. But unless I'm about to die, I don't fuck with the air conditioner. I just deal with the heat. I let the sun get on my skin, deal with the heat, and sweat it out. Like I've been sweating all day. That's my sauna. But as much as I love the heat, I've been out here thinking, you know what? I don't want to live someplace where it's blazing hot all the time. I actually appreciate seasons, you know. Medellin is the city of eternal spring, but spring is cool, but I don't like the spring all year round, because I like some heat, sun on my skin so I can get darker, so I can glow, bam. But then when it's like really hot like this, it can get real funky. Like this morning, I was like, yo, the heat and the humidity makes me horny, like it makes me think about sex, it makes me like, but at the same time, it makes me not want to have sex, because it's so fucking hot and funky. Like this morning, I was like, yo, it's so hot. I got out the shower and I feel hot. Like, it's too, like the thought of like having sex with somebody is like, it's too hot for that shit, it's just too hot, you know? So I don't want to be someplace where it's like blazing hot all the time. I appreciate seasons. Give me summer, spring, winter, fall. Yeah. They all have their things. Wintertime is when I want to cuddle. Summertime, I'll be like, yo, get off me, it's too fucking hot. Okay. So, tomorrow, so I'm trying to contact my Airbnb, I'm losing my life. My Airbnb host, the drums belong to a friend of hers who teaches, so I'm trying to get in contact with this dude so I can try to learn something tomorrow about these drums. Maybe study some rhythms. And then there's a guy who I met in Cartagena last year, who is going to take me to his hood tomorrow night. So, because Cartagena, there's a dance that a lot of people do called Champeta, and I've done YouTube videos about Champeta from when I was here last year. You can check it. I love Champeta, but every time I go out trying to find it, I just see tourists everywhere. There's so many tourists in Cartagena, white and black. So, in order to go to the real spot, you need to know people from here. And so he told me tomorrow night he's going to take me to his barrio, to his hood, and put me on and show me what the black people do and how they dance and they do Champeta. So I'll report back after I have that experience about that. I have lots of other videos in Cartagena. I'll leave Cartagena on Saturday morning. But, there's so much to say. Like, the black people here are so beautiful. A lot of people do videos on Medellin and how beautiful women are in Medellin. I feel like the women are prettier in Cartagena and in Cali. Cartagena is full of black people, and no offense to anybody, but I do feel like the people with some melanin a lot of times look better. Now, no offense to anybody, like I said. There are some pretty white girls. If you like white girls, then Medellin is a place to go, right? There's a few black people in Medellin, but it's a very white city. Cartagena, there's beautiful women here. There's some good-looking men, too. They're just short. But the men in Cartagena look better, way fucking better than Medellin or Cali. I mean, yeah. Now, I'm interested in maybe going to Buenaventura, but I'm not sure because I saw some videos on YouTube about how dangerous it is. But just like Chicago, like, you know, a lot of people think Chicago is like the deadliest place, but it really depends on where you are. So I need to find out more about Buenaventura before I like venture over to that side. But there's a lot more that I need to dig into in Colombia. The birthing practices of Afro-Indigenous people, the drums and the rhythms, the dances, and the las hierbas that's used for medicine, the spiritual history about the African tradition. So there's so much. And before I talk you guys' ear off, I'm going to stop this video because I'm losing my light as well. The sun is gone, finito. So I'm going to get myself together and go back out because when I was here last year, there was a group of black dancers that were, again, half naked. They had on very little clothes, and they do like this performance outside where they do a bunch of Afro-Colombian dances. They were not here when I was here last month. When I was here in March, I didn't see them. But they were there when I was here last year. And I asked my friend, Carlos, you know, Spanish people got to say, they recycle the same 5 names over and over again. First name, last name, names of cities, get the same 5 names. So dude Carlos that I know that I met last year, he told me, no, they're out there all the time. So I'm going to go see if I can find them tonight and get some video footage. But it's always better to get it in the daytime. And I wish I was going to be here longer. But I'm glad I'm here right now, and I will be back in Colombia a lot. I have a lot more to share because there's more things I wanted to say about what I found today. But definitely follow me on Instagram and read my Instagram posts because I'll be posting pictures and showing you some of the things that I've discovered. And I'm going to try to do some videos in the morning, also on some of the things while I have the light before I go run out and enjoy my day. Okay, so hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Hopefully maybe you want to come to Colombia now. I'm going to put you on. Follow me on YouTube, The Renaissance Amazon. Follow me on Instagram, the_Renaissance_Amazon_81. And have a good day. Bye, people.